I'm going to be presenting Evolution versus God, which is an interview uploaded on the YouTube channel Living Waters on August 6th, 2013. The setting, the location where the interview is shot, is on a university campus. Most of the interviews are shot outside of it on the grounds, while some of them are set inside. There are no props or costumes that are presented in this, although there is a microphone which is used to record audio, assuming that is seen as a prop. In the shot, there is the interviewee. You never once see the actual interviewer, who's a 40-year-old or 39-year-old, I think he claims to be, year old male. The background is just whatever location they are in, while the person who's being interviewed is in the foreground. The camera does very little movement during the interviews, as all that is in focus, all that needs to be in focus, is the person answering these questions that are presented by the interviewer. The camera doesn't do any panning up, down, left, or right. It just stays focused on the person being interviewed. Obviously, if you did any movement, it would take focus away from what is the main subject of this interview, being the answers that the people give. So it's very steady camera. The camera angle, it's looking straight at the subject. There's no extreme angles, it's just face value, pointing straight at the faces, maybe a little down because it looks like he's holding it with his hand maybe from below, but basically they're centered and it's just the same height as they are. So I suppose you could see it as the camera serving as the eyes of the interviewer, because it's about head height. Lighting is just regular daylight, so it's better in the shots that are done outside than some of the shots that are done either inside in sort of dimly lit rooms, or one of the people who's interviewed underneath a tree, in which the shade kind of not obscures his face, but it makes it more difficult to see him. The colours, they're just very regular. There's nothing strange about them. They're all just natural colours, because if you added any extreme colours, then you'd probably be taking the focus away from the subject and then putting them towards those colours, which is not the purpose of this interview, so that has not been done. The soundtrack is, during the interviews, is jolly. There's very kind of light-hearted melody constantly playing in the background. But there are these parts of the interview where citations are put in, where it just cuts to this animation of maybe like text appearing on the screen, which is a quote, and then whoever said the quote, to support some of the things that the interviewer is saying. And during these animated bits, the music tends to get a bit more dramatic than during the interview. And this is probably to emphasize that this is important, you should pay attention to this. That kind of contributes to the atmosphere being a bit more serious during those animations, and more playful during the interviews. There are no sound effects that are used during the interview, as again it just takes away focus from the person. You don't want that. The only kind of the sound that is in focus is the dialogue between the two people, the two parts of the interview. Which then leads us on to the editing, which is, again, it's nothing special about it. It's just cuts. You go from one person to another. He asks a question, the interviewer asks a question, and then you hear the different answers from the different people. Although he seems to cut away sometimes in the middle of people's sentences, he cuts away to the next person. So that'll kind of lead you to believe that maybe they're not finished speaking and they have a point that he doesn't want them to say, because they might be about to say something that he disagrees with, which he then had the power to remove through editing. The cutting is very kind of regular. It happens when you'd expect it to happen, after people are done talking for the most part. But it's not nothing extreme. It's not constant cuts to different people. It's just you get to hear what they say, you get to hear a question maybe as well, and then he moves on. And then eventually, when he's finished with this question, he poses a new question, and then he hears the new answers. Sometimes the interviewees, they heckle him because they disagree. He asks at one point, "Is there a God?" Sorry. Can you prove that evolution is real? And when they struggle to or can't, one of them then asks him, "Well, can you prove that God is real?" To which he says, "Yes," and then quickly cuts on to the next one. So you don't really get to hear anything more than that, which kind of leads me to believe that he's a bit biased, let's say. The wider context, there's not really much other context than he's just interviewing people, trying to probably convince them that Christianity is the way to go, that maybe we should think a bit more about how evolution might not be true. Darwin's theory of evolution might not be the correct one. He questions people about intelligent design and if they believe that, which they don't, most of them. But then when he does ask them why they believe what they do, and they can't really answer, they say they just have faith in the scientists who have, first of all, made the Darwin himself. They believe him, they have faith in him, even though the theories he have are about things that happened 600 million years ago, which he himself was not there to witness. So it's only a theory, but they believe it, which he then turns around and says, "Well, isn't that what I do? I believe in God. I have faith in that he created the world in 6 days." And that is the end of that.